Okay, think about this. If you're innocent, would you ever agree to go behind bars? Well, some have in one of the country's most dangerous jails, and they did it to gain a deeper understanding of the criminal justice system. Here to talk about 60 days in, Colonel Mark Adger and Sheriff Jamey Noel. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm well.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us this morning. I watched this series, and I'm fascinated by it. But for those that haven't seen this, explain the concept with it.
You know, basically season 1 and 2, and then also season 3 in Fulton County. It's where we pick undercover innocent volunteers that agreed to go into the jail to gain information on how we can improve our jail and to kind of check ourselves.
Yeah, you learn a lot of different things throughout this process, Sheriff. I guess, what did you learn? What did you find that was really important to how you're running the system?
In the Clark County Jail, I learned, and I'm sure they learned interesting things in Atlanta also, it's the little things. It's what the inmates go through, especially upon release, and that the undercover participants went through a lot of the same things that a normal inmate would go when they're released, when they leave that jail and they see the sunlight for the first time and the experiences that they go through.
Yeah, Colonel, we're going on the third.
In Fulton County, we did it for the same reason they did it in Clark County.
Yeah.
I wanted to know specifically, how does jail affect those who are first-time offenders? And this is, their time in jail is going to be about 30 to 60 days. What kind of effect do we have on those people? I think that's an interesting question, because in Fulton County, we're doing criminal justice reform initiatives, and we're trying to invest public funds in those projects that are going to reduce reoffending and improve how people come out of jail and reintegrate into the community.
Well, what did you learn, Colonel? Like you said, you're talking about some first-time offenders here. How did they, and I've seen some of these changes by some of these participants, how they may have changed through the course of this. What did you learn?
Well, first of all, jail definitely changes people. There's no getting around that. And the stress of the jail environment is very detrimental to even the strongest of psyches. But I think one of the things that we learned most is that for the staff, they have really got to concentrate on what we call jail 101, getting the basics of jail management and supervision right each and every day. And because of this, we were able to improve our contraband protocols and have drastically reduced what comes into the jail that's undesirable.
Yeah, you know, we've talked, some people say, you know, throw people in jail, it's a punishment, let it go, but it's more sophisticated than that. And when some of these participants went in there, how did they feel when they left? And I guess, what type of participants were you able to get to volunteer to go do this?
Well, you know, we were lucky to have a diverse group of participants. These are people that came from everyday walks of life. Some of these guys and gals had previous experience with law enforcement. They worked in law enforcement as either corrections officers or police officers. But the others just wanted to know what it was like to be in jail. Some of them had family members that have been in jail, and they wanted to know what it was like for those family members to have been in jail. So I think we, you know, were able to answer a lot of questions that these participants had on their own.
Yeah, well, this
Yeah, I think a lot of them, you know, they stood out as the volunteers, and you go through the vetting process of what undercover participants you're going to use. They all had a heart. So they had a family member that was incarcerated. They wanted to see, like the Colonel said, what it was like behind bars. So they had the servant's heart to want to go do it. A lot of people said, hey, you're crazy for it. But thank goodness for me and the Colonel both, for both of our jails, we had willing participants that took it very seriously for the most part, with the exception of a couple, I'm sure. But and it worked out really well.
Yeah, well,
I really appreciate the work that the participants did in my jail.
Oh, fantastic.
And the other good thing that I'm sure the Colonel mentioned too is it also, even though we're being critical to learn what we can do to improve the system, but the corrections officers that are on the walk, and they're doing a good job. Time and time again, those names came up again. He was doing their job and doing it well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, gentlemen, well, thank you. As a viewer, I can tell you it's fascinating to watch. And if you haven't seen the show, if you're out there, watch at least one of these episodes. It's fantastic. 60 Days in Atlanta premieres tomorrow at 8 p.m. on A&E. Colonel Mark Adger and Sheriff Jamey Noel, thanks for your time this morning. And good luck with this series. It's fascinating, like I said.
Thank you for that. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Earlier we